So, Vio here, and I learned some things today. Oops. I learned some things today. One of which is that you can't play your games from Steam if you don't have an internet connection, which is very unfortunate. Oops. That's right. I don't have a connection to the internet for reasons. And I'm kinda surprised. I thought, oh, well, I guess I'll record one of my Steam games. Nope. No. Steam is not so generous. You do everything you can, dig through folders. Nothing works, and I mean, maybe there's a solution, but it's hard to Google a solution in my current situation. I'm sure you can imagine. And so here we are, jumping over cactuses as a T-Rex. You know, I heard that back in the time of the dinosaurs, this was a common occurrence. Deserts were spreading for some reason. And so clearly the T-Rexes had to adapt by getting some very good jumping skills. The T-Rex basketball teams of the time were legendary. Oops. Because you see, T-Rexes, they don't really understand the concept of going around things, which, I mean, that was very unfortunate, and it might have led to their extinction later on. But, you know, they just can't figure out how to go around things, so it was either break through things, which they were usually good at, or jump over them. And because cactuses are so spiky, or cacti, are so spiky and they just hurt in general, really, the T-Rex had to jump over them. But they couldn't really jump over them that well because, I mean, at the time, they hadn't had to jump over things that tall. And so, over a series of much adapting, they eventually learned how to jump 40 feet into the air. Incredible that a cactus can grow that big.
Are you watching her? Make
Yep.
sure. She's looking back at it.
Mm-hmm.
What are you playing?
Google Chrome game. Well, that was just awkward. She almost made it so I couldn't teach about the fascinating history of the T-Rex. Oops. You see, the T-Rex I'm playing as, it's a gimpy T-Rex, man. It doesn't know how to jump as well as its others of its kind. So, that's why this T-Rex is going to be removed from the gene pool eventually.
What did you get to eat? You
That's-
gotta eat more than that.
That's what, well, I'll do it eventually.
You can't wait long.
Do you see what I have to put up with, man? People interrupting my speeches about the T-Rex. The majestic T-Rex. I know so much about the T-Rex, man. And its relationship with the cacti. Oh, here's another fun fact about the T-Rex. You see, cacti mostly grow in the desert, as you'd imagine. And so, the T-Rex is not around water that much. And so, to get water, the T-Rexes had to learn how to jump high enough to eat clouds out of the sky. It was really an incredible development. Truly though. This T-Rex, though, cannot jump high enough to get the water out of the sky. It won't live long in these conditions. That's why it has to run. It needs to get out of the desert if it hopes to live at all. But all these cacti are in the way, and it's not very good at jumping over them, as we've established. Isn't it a shame? This T-Rex in its fight for survival due to its lack of proper adaptation. Ah, yes. Truly a magnificent creature, the T-Rex. And thank goodness that, due to poor internet connection, we get to see this personally. We get to observe the T-Rex through many years ago. We can look into the past with the amazingness that is a lack of internet connection. So much sand. You know, that's something else. Running through sand is difficult for most humans, unless you're very used to it. But this T-Rex, look how it runs through the sand, without ceasing, without difficulty. It is not at all affected. It runs as though it were on concrete. Easy, easy concrete. You cannot hinder this T-Rex. You see, it's on a journey. It's on a mission. It needs to get out of the desert. And so, you see this T-Rex. This T-Rex is special. It can't jump like the other T-Rexes. It can't eat clouds out of the air, but it can really run. You see, this T-Rex, its parents, they were really into, like, cross-country, you know? And so, this T-Rex, even though it cannot jump as well as its peers, it can run. It can run just so fast, and so well, even in this sand. You can't stop this T-Rex, even when it gets prickled by cacti. You can't stop it. This T-Rex is gonna keep running. It's never gonna stop. You can't make it stop. No matter how many times it busts its head and snout into a cactus and hurts itself, it's just gonna keep running. Because that's what a T-Rex does. It just keeps going. It can't go around things, so it has to keep going. Forever. It's never gonna stop. Because this T-Rex knows that it needs to live. You see, if this T-Rex doesn't live, how is it going to profess its love to Julie? Julie, you know, Julie is a special T-Rex. You know, not special like this T-Rex because it can run, but Julie is special for another reason. Julie, you see, well, she's very pretty, but also she's very kind for a T-Rex. And she has a very tender spot in her heart for this poor, gimpy, unable to jump as well as its peers T-Rex. I'm gonna name him Carl. You see, Carl really likes Julie. Of course he does, because Julie is the most perfect T-Rex on the planet. Julie, she's something special, man. And so Carl's gonna make sure that he gets to survive, because he needs to go and find more plant life to offer to Julie, because Julie likes plants. She's fascinated by them. She wants to become a botanist, yep. And so Carl knows this. Carl pays attention to Julie. He knows what she wants. And she wants plants. So Carl's gonna get her plants. And the only way to get her plants is to survive. And the only way to survive is to get out of the desert. And also, getting out of the desert is in fact the best way to find more plants. Carl's gonna find so many interesting plants once he leaves the desert, really. I mean, he would have had to do this anyways if he wanted to live, which of course he does. He needs to live for Julie. That's important. But even without that, he would have had to leave the desert anyways to get plants for her. So really, this is just the best of possible way for him to just get what he wants out of life. And what he wants out of life is not only to live, but also to make Julie happy. And you know, he's gonna find some of the prettiest flowers once he leaves the desert. I mean, the cactus flowers are nice sometimes, but Julie already knows about those. If she wants to become a botanist, she needs to study more plants than just that. So of course she's going to, you know, really appreciate the chance to see new plant life. Because Julie herself, even though she can jump properly, and so she could get out of the desert easier than Carl here can, you see, she isn't allowed to leave the desert. she's not allowed to leave her parents' side that much, so she cannot pursue her passions in life. But Carl's parents are in cross country, and they want him to be in cross country, so it's totally okay for him to run as far as he wants. He can just keep running and running. They'll be okay with it. Julie's parents aren't like that. They're not in cross country, so they don't understand, really. And they certainly don't understand why she wants to be a botanist. They really want her to pursue hunting, but she's not into it, man. Why would Julie want to hunt? She's just such a peaceful creature. Always helping others. Hunting just isn't her thing. She needs to study plants so that she'll more be able to help her fellow T-Rexes. Ah, yes. This is a beautiful love story we've been able to unfold thanks to the failure to open the internet. Oh, Google Chrome, how far your depths go. How much attention you have paid to those that once walked this planet. You really understand Google Chrome. You really know what it's about. See, Google Chrome wants to teach us all something important about life and about love. And that is that even if you don't know how to go around the cactus, you can kind of jump over it. Even if you're not the best jumper, you'll still make it. I mean, you still got your 2 legs. You can still run pretty well. So you'll get over those cacti. Sometimes you'll scratch your snout a little bit, but you can still make it. You can still make it, man. I mean, none of these cacti are too big to jump over. Even with his gimpy little legs, he can still manage it, Carl can. That's what it's all about. You can always jump over the cactus. Maybe Carl had to practice more than his peers, but he still jumps over these cacti, man. Carl's not gonna give up. And really, Google Chrome has really highlighted how love is sometimes. Sometimes your loved ones, they can't always do it on their own. And even when it's hard for you, if you got 2 little legs, you can still do it. You can jump over those cacti, and you can make it. You can get those flowers for them. You can really make their day. You can help them out, man, because you got your 2 gimpy little legs, and you can do it. See, Google Chrome understands how life is. Man, Firefox don't even know, man. Internet Explorer doesn't get it. Internet Explorer just doesn't understand how life is sometimes. I mean, they got their anime girls and stuff, but they don't really look at how real life works, and how real emotion works. The struggles of love and life. Internet Explorer doesn't get that. They just like to watch anime. That's okay, but what are they gonna do when they stop watching anime? They're not gonna understand how they have their gimpy little legs. They're not gonna know. Google Chrome knows, though. Google Chrome always knew. And then Firefox, what do they got going on? They don't got nothing. But Google Chrome has something. It has real soul and understanding for the real struggles of mankind. And it displays these struggles by showing us the struggles of Carl and dinosaur kind. And really, what more could you ask for? Google Chrome just wants to spread some love, man. It just wants everyone to understand their gimpy little legs. It even wants Firefox to understand its gimpy little legs. It wants everyone to know. And really, what more could you ask for a search engine? I mean, except for it to have access to the internet. But that's besides the point. Because Google Chrome knew that this day of lack of internet access would come to us all. That we would all fail to have internet at some point or another. And so, Google Chrome is just it's gonna let us, in those times of woe, it's gonna give us something to reflect on. Such as the dilemma of Carl and his love Julie. Truly a masterpiece of great depths. I don't know how Google Chrome does it, man. But I really can't fault them for wanting to show us all something like this. Oh, yes. And you see, look how long we've been doing this for, and Carl still doesn't give up. Look how he continues to jump, even after running into so many cacti. Carl is a true inspiration to us all. Ah, yes. If only we could all be a little more like Carl. Just even a little bit. We could just take our gimpy little legs and get over our own cacti. And I'm sure we would all make it. We'd all do such good jobs getting over our cacti. But sometimes it's hard to be brave like Carl, and to know true love like Carl knows true love. And so, truly, if only Carl were still around to teach us. But the dinosaurs all died out a really long time ago. In fact, it's amazing that we even can know of this tale nowadays. The way it got passed down. Yes, it is amazing, really. My high score is still only 1,000, but that's okay. Because Carl doesn't give up. Carl never gives up. Carl only gives up when the internet comes back on. Then he takes a break. That's a little different from giving up, though. I guess it was wrong of me to say such things about Carl. I should have known better. Oh, Carl. If only you could still be around today to teach us all how to use our gimpy legs. We would really have come so much farther as a society if only you could have taught us such things. I'm sure that the Library of Alexander, or whatever it's called, I'm sure that wouldn't even have burned down if you were still around, Carl. You could have all had just taught us that instead of, letting fire be a thing, we could just not. And then it would have been saved. Carl, you're so smart. You see, Carl understands things like that. How to make fire stop existing completely. It would have been a little difficult because, fire is also necessary for us to survive in those early times. But see, Carl then would tell us that we can just make cold stop being a thing. And that would stop existing. And then we could all live in the desert together in merriment with Carl. Ah, yes. We could have advanced so much if only Carl could have not been immortal or something. Or dinosaurs in general didn't go extinct. Sometimes I'm sure Carl would get hungry, and that would be a very tragic day for us. But other than that, I'm sure Carl could have taught us so much. Really, if you think about it, Carl could have saved a lot of lives that way. Oh, Carl. Oh. Oh. It would appear that the internet has come back on. It seems that Carl's lessons have to cease for today. But don't worry, everybody. Carl is still, he's in each of us, deep in our hearts. So don't fear. Just remember the lessons of Carl. And someday, when the internet goes out again, he can give you more lessons and stories and other such fun things.
I just turned your computer back on. What's so funny?
I've been monologuing for a while.
What's that mean?
I've been talking to myself for a while and it got a little out of hand.
Oh. Well, I've turned you on. She can stop talking to herself now.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe in a while I could play Nintendo, but I don't want to play the Sunshine one. I don't like that one. It's too hard.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, VO out. Have a nice day, everybody.